What's up, sports bettors? I know I've already given out a lot of plays, including this bad boy on Underdog Fantasy, three very sharp picks I was able to lock in. And what I'm going to be sharing with you in this video is just some college basketball bets I have. So we have college basketball, we have college football today, packed slates for both. I cleared my freaking calendar, can't do anything but bet on sports. You know that lines are going to be moving around, and I'm going to be looking for value. And again, I say this all the time, but all I'm showing you guys in these videos is just what I bet on. Following a data-driven mathematical strategy, right? Finding plays with an edge. So let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Three college basketball plays. One of them is actually a parlay. So we're going to go ahead and we'll get into it. The first pick I have are these two. Okay, both are on FanDuel. So I say this all the time, but here you can see there's a good NBA bet on Caesars. A couple lines moving in Clint Capella, and people never, it's pretty hard for people to understand, like, why does sports betting take a lot of time? It doesn't necessarily take a ton of time, but I mean, I try to put as much time in as possible to make as much money as possible. But is the market's always moving, right? Like, if in the Raptors Hawks game somebody gets injured, Clint Capella's lines, maybe bookies are stale. Let's say the person he was supposed to be guarding, gets injured. Then, all of Clint Capella's lines have to move as well. If he's playing against a worse player, maybe he's more likely to have more points, all that type of stuff. So this market is very dynamic. It's just like the stock market, but it's open 24/7. Like, you can bet on sports, lines are always moving. Bookmakers have very sophisticated models, always moving around lines. And the easiest way to make money betting on sports is you hunt for the discrepancies between bookmakers. So you'll see in this first play, which is ridiculous, I was able to get over 141.5 points in your UC Irvine versus Pepperdine at minus 110 on FanDuel, right? Just a bet in bold with a circle around it. A lot of people are interested in the math. Some people just want to know the good bet. So this is the play I ended up going with, UC Irvine Pepperdine over 141.5. Why do we like it? Again, just think about, the math. We're getting this at minus 110 on FanDuel, DraftKings, 10 bet, pricing this at minus 145, Resorts World bet, pricing this at minus 140, and Pinnacle, which is the sharpest bookmaker, they're pricing this at minus 138. So lines started to move higher in this game. All the action was coming in on the over. FanDuel's asleep at the wheel, and they haven't adjusted yet, right? So this is a play with an edge, a pretty big edge, 3.5% return on capital, percent return. And the way you think about this is just like the stock market. The stock market returns roughly 8% a year. Sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes up. This bet is good by 3.5%. In other words, in the long run, if you're placing bets with 3.5% EV, you're going to make a 3.5% return on your total stake, right? So if you bet $100, you just made $350 in EV. If you bet $1,000, you just made $35 in EV. So as you place more and more positive EV wagers, you're going to see that the variance goes down. Any bet can lose, of course. Any bet can lose. This by no means is a lock. If you hear that word, take it out of your vocabulary. This by no means is a lock, but it's clearly a big line discrepancy, right? Every bookie has the over heavily juiced, 1.4, 1.5 to 1. We're getting it minus 110. Definitely a play we want to be on. Clearly beating the VIG. Is this bet guaranteed to win? Of course not. Of course not. But in the long run, placing wagers like this will make you money. And it's just logical, rational sports betting. Like the way that sportsbooks make money is they charge the VIG, they charge the juice. So what you need to do is kind of look across the market and try to get a sense of what would the odds be without VIG? What would, if the sportsbooks weren't charging VIG, what would the odds be? And that's called no VIG odds, right? It's the most important, or fair odds. It's the most important, term kind of in sports betting. No VIG odds, fair odds. So here, the no VIG line is minus 118. We're getting minus 110 on FanDuel, so we're getting value, right? We're getting better odds than the no VIG odds. So hopefully that's helpful and helps you kind of understand it. You're always looking for value in the market. Just like an investor, people always overcomplicate it. Like, why are you betting on UC Irvine versus Pepperdine? It's like, I mean, because there's value in this game. I don't know anything about either of these schools. I didn't even know they had basketball programs, but it's very clear that there's a ton of value in this play at minus 110. So I hit it. That's the first leg in my parlay. And then same thing here, but we're on the under. Once again, we have very high confidence. We don't just have one sports book telling us that this under should be minus 145. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, not all minus 145, but you get the point. You have 4 sports books all telling you, so we have high confidence that FanDuel is the side that's off, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. This column is just the same as this. So 4 sports books all telling us the under should be priced from minus 130 to minus 145, and we're getting it at minus 110 on FanDuel. So clearly FanDuel's a pretty big line discrepancy. And again, this is why you need multiple sports books. You scroll around, you'll see some plays on Caesars, DraftKings, whatever. Every state also has different sports books, so that's something to consider. Here are the 5 I'm currently looking at. You can add in other sports books, whatever. But that's the first play I went with. It's just a 2-leg parlay. So if it loads, if FanDuel loads, of course they're going to log me out. But anyways, I hit it here, $550 for plus 264 odds. So I'll have to, provide a screenshot or something like that because I'm not sure why. Oh, here it is. Show selection. So here it is, right? And again, this market's moving. So if you're not able to tail the plays, I'm sorry. I say it all the time, but this is just like the stock market. The price of GameStop may be $5 one minute, 100, the next minute. It's supply and demand. So when we find a really good play, a really sharp play, if other people start to bet it, then it may move, right? This bet won't be around on FanDuel forever because FanDuel's slipping up big time, right? They're giving us a play at minus 110 that you have 4 other sports books telling you should be minus 140 to minus 145. This play's not going to be around forever. Great bets don't last forever. This really is like day trading. You got to be fast. You really do. You got to be fast. So knowing even how to navigate the sports books is super useful, Anyways, the next play I went with is right here. Stonehill Holy Cross under 151.5 points. So again, there's no magic here, no, fairy dust, whatever. We're looking for value in the market. Now, FanDuel, they're not as bullish on the under, but DraftKings is super bullish. They have this minus 145. So I'm taking all this data in the market, and then I'm being like, yeah, I'm down to play this on WynnBET at minus 110 odds. Looking at all the data in the market. And it really is as simple as place the bet in bold with a circle around it. I mean, of course, there's some other considerations you can add in. For example, this I already bet. I'm taking every World Cup bet I can find. This bet is in February, so maybe we skip it. I mean, I skipped it so far because it's so far away. I rarely skip a bet, but, it's a while away, and this one I think moved on me. So a lot of times there's no art and science to why are you taking the 4th bet down, because typically I sort OddsJam to see the highest profit margin plays first. And then sometimes it's also what sportsbook am I just logged into? If you're logged into one sportsbook, then you can be quicker because I just said for the best plays, they're usually not going to last forever, so you really have to be on it. So here's that play. I got 1.1K down to win $1,000. So again, finding value, finding an edge, it's pretty simple, right? This is why I love sports betting so much. Put my whole life into it is all these bookmakers have different odds. So the way to make money is pretty straightforward. It's not super complicated. It's just you ruthlessly compare lines between bookmakers and you hunt for value and discrepancies. And again, usually there's not going to be, there's not a million bets available. I mean, you can see with a profit margin over 1%, you have, 20 or so plays available on the sports books I'm using. They're all moving around. The market's moving, so you got to day trade them. But you get what I'm saying. Out of the millions of odds kind of on sports books, if we go back to, out of all these lines, this is just money lines. Out of all of the spreads, the props, the player props, NBA, that's just one sport. Millions of odds updating in real time on OddsJam is most of these plays aren't profitable, right? Because the sportsbooks have the leg up, which is the VIG. They have the spread, right? They force you on totals to bet 11 to win back 10. That's called the VIG. I mean, they're essentially car dealers, right? Sportsbooks are car dealers. They say, okay, we'll give you this. We think this bet should be priced here, so we'll let you bet this side here and this side here. I mean, it's exactly like a car dealer. You can buy this car, for $15,000, but then if you try to sell it back to them, they'll be like, oh, I'll only pay $10,000. They'll sell it to you for $15,000. They buy it for $10,000. They're literally, they're car dealers. They buy it for $10,000. They sell it for $15,000. It's the same thing on sportsbooks. The sportsbooks have some sense of where the bet should be priced, and then they add in their juice, their spread. So the only reason it's possible to find still mathematically profitable plays with an edge, is because all these sportsbooks have different odds. So you just look for where there are massive discrepancies between books. One side clearly has to be off, like in this case, and then we're just trying to decide which side is off. And in this case, it's WynnBET. The no vig line is minus 118. So really good play. I ended up locking in. And then finally I have an NBA play. Here, WynnBET is an arbitrage bet to my bookie. 1.36% profit margin. I know it's a college basketball video, but whatever. Throwing in an NBA play because I saw it pop up. And then here are my plays, right? So these plays I already gave out previously, so I actually have to remove these. And again, I've been tracking profit and loss. It's in the description on YouTube, but these two bets alone have 53.11 in profit margin. And that's how you think about sports betting, right? You take your EV percentage, your edge, and then you multiply it by your stake. So for a parlay, it's a little more complicated, so we'll skip it. But essentially, you can roughly add up these two numbers. So our parlay would have like 7% EV, and we got, $550 on it or whatever it was. So two really profitable bets, 53.11 in profit margin. And it's just really understanding the power of like these daily returns. When you have an edge in college basketball of 2%, that means 60% a month, assuming there's college basketball every day. Thank you.